Wait like 10 seconds. Mwah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LongWalker's Live. Wake up and walk on. I've got a Taylor that I wanted to go over, Taylor the Fiend. It's been a while since we've done some red pill action, so I figured let's get down to it.
First of all, since we're on the subject, I want to speak about what happened last night with our son and what he did.
Yes.
Because this is pertaining to the whole quote-unquote red pill situation. He, on his third channel, he finally posted a Hidan.
The Guru Show, for all those who don't know, if you want to look it up, The Guru Show. He's 15 years old, and he's talking about his feelings on all these subjects.
Yes, so he had a Hidan that he posted, and he was saying that, he said multiple times throughout the entire thing that he doesn't fully, agree with Hidan. He says he knows that there's good women in the world and blah, 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 blah. He no longer had it up for maybe a couple of hours, and before he goes to bed, he has messages from his two female friends who say that they're not left-leaning. Really, they say they're left, like they're not that. They're rarely left-leaning. Every ideology that they spewed was like parroting the shit that we see on TV.
Yes,
every
it was.
single talking point. And it went from, the red pill stuff to ICE to protests to how can you be so heartless about people suffering and going through stuff. They like laid into him about this.
Yeah, they did.
This was on the heels of them saying, it's okay, you can share your opinions, we're not going to curb stomp you. Proceeds to then
curb stomped, yes.
Hi.
And, like I said, he's one of the good ones. It's like he's good, he's not a Chad. He's not trying. He doesn't want to date just for the sake of dating. He's not like trying to get with women just to sleep with them and stuff. He wants, if he has them, he wants a relationship. He's always wanted a family. He wants values. And he said, they said, this is how you really feel about women? And he said, yeah. He's like, modern women, yes. And they're like, with all due respect, you don't know what a modern woman is. Well, we went through exactly the definition of a modern woman, and career-driven, assertive, non-traditional. So I was like, yeah, he does know what that is.
Yes, he does.
And I was telling, this is exactly why young men are not speaking out anymore.
It's exactly why, yes.
It is why they're unaliving themselves at alarming rates, because women don't want men anymore. They want women.
I know.
And it just so happens that these two happen to be lesbians as well.
Yeah, they are.
So it's like they don't like the idea of a man having an assertive standpoint on this sort of stuff. It's like they want compassion and they want empathy, and it's like, but they don't want stoicism and they don't want like hard decisions.
That's exactly right. And I just wanted to say I'm very proud of him for speaking his mind and keeping it out there and allowing the world to see.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very hard.
It's really hard. And it's like he's more than willing to go his own way. I mean, he doesn't have very many people in his life, but he says he won't think twice about like at least putting them on break for like a month and not talking to them. Yeah, if they're going to be that way.
Exactly.
And that's sad. That sucks, because they were really close for like 4.5 years.
Yes.
They've been like friends.
Yes. And I just want to throw it out there too that him and I are actually thinking that we might start doing videos together. Every Saturday, about two different generations, but the views from both points on different topics.
Yeah, I figured I'll go through stuff that's like trending throughout the week. You guys can record it like on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And
post it Saturday.
Post it on Saturday, and I'm gonna try and think of a good name here in a little bit for you guys.
So let me
podcast style.
Yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you want to see it, let us know. We'll get it going.
A faith-based, masculine, multi-generational podcast.
Podcast, yes.
Yeah. The Grocker.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, because it's like more young men do need to step up and
yes, they do
stick to their convictions and not be afraid of being called misogynistic and all this crap, because
what this world's turning into.
They just think that because they're loud that they're right.
And that's not the case at all.
We need strong men now more than ever.
Yeah, we do, for sure.
Good times create weak men. That's the point that we're at.
Yes.
Now we have hard times coming because weak men create hard times. Now we need strong
men. And it just
to
continues
balance
from there.
So
yes.
you are here as far as world history goes.
Exactly.
So,
yes, that's exactly right, and that was a good thing to bring up before we get into the video.
Go check it out. It's on the Guru Show.
The Guru Show.
It's his latest video. It's about. It's just a question: are modern women ruining the dating market, or something like that, or something like that.
And it's a dawn. It's like what I would cover on my red pill action.
Yeah, and they said they were ripping into Hidon and everything, and just like calling him like the worst names you could think of. And that was one of his more mild videos.
I know.
He, like I said, you gotta hear that when he was talking about abortion and stuff. It was pretty crazy.
I know. I was looking for a good one, and I saw this Taylor the Fiend, and so I figured it's 41 minutes. I figured we'll get into it and just see.
It's perfect because he's, Tristan is a Gen Z.
Yes.
And this is literally like where they're sitting with that.
Yeah.
They don't want to fucking deal with it.
I know. It's exactly right. They don't.
So it's perfect. It ties right into everything. So
I hope we get Sancho joining us on this one. This is exactly how he found us. Talking about the manosphere, the red pill action.
We need to tag him in this story time.
Yes. This is it.
Yep.
Alrighty, let's get it rolling. Sorry for the dog barking.
He does it every time you go live.
I know. She knows. Yo, what is up? This is Taylor. All right, I got it set up. We're going.
Rates are just collapsing. Countries like the USA and the UK are seeing the lowest childbirth numbers in their histories. It's not just a stat, it's millions of people who always imagined they'd have a partner and family one day, now quietly aging out to that possibility.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video for you here today from a channel called Moon titled The Incelification of Gen Z. Let's jump into it.
Answer this one question. When was the last time you met someone naturally? No dating apps, not online, but a genuine interaction in the real world. I'm guessing for most of you it was quite a while ago, but if you're in Generation Z, it possibly has never even happened. And that's not an accident. Most people we see these days are cashiers, co-workers, people rushing around, delivery drivers, people we pass by, not people we get to know. Interactions are often just transactions. Before dating apps turned relationships into a marketplace, the stage was already set years ago. Just think.
I love how people say this, by the way. Dating apps have obviously made things so much worse, but dating and mate selection has always been a marketplace. It's always been a transaction. If you're a dude and you're more attractive, or you have more money, or you're taller, women are going to view you more favorably. Relationships have pretty much always been this way, especially for men. You're always going to be paying with something.
Think about an average day. You work from home alone, your groceries get delivered, you tap your phone to pay, no words exchanged. Self-checkout at the shops, takeaway dropped to your door by someone who doesn't make eye contact, or maybe doesn't even speak the same language as you. It's so easy to go days without meaningful human interaction. Most interactions you do have are transactional, unless you're one of the lucky few who finds a club, society, or just something to connect with people. And even then, it's probably shoved into a small corner of your routine. We live in a touchless society, and like anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. Intimacy, sex, and love are just no different. And unlimited access to adult content really capitalized on this moment. You just click, consume, and wrap things up, remove your sexual desire, and move on with your day. Super easy and truly the simplest exchange for pleasure imaginable, really. But it's also shallow, takes away your drive, it's temporary satisfaction with diminishing returns. And like any addiction, you merely fill the gaps without addressing the root causes. And the brain is adapted to all of this. Dating apps started with a promise to breach a gap that most of their founders and investors had started. I mean, get this one. One of the Tinder CEOs left in 2022 and immediately launched Mino, an AI chatbot to fight loneliness. There's now a thriving loneliness economy that Silicon Valley talks about all the time.
I don't know if you guys have seen, but there are plenty of people on the internet and just in the world in general who will try and roast men for being like, wow, I can't believe these dudes are turning to like AI girlfriends. I can't believe men aren't participating and trying to make the dating game continue to work. And I understand these things are terrible for human beings. You've got corn and things like that. Obviously not good for men. But the really sad part about it is You know, for a lot of guys, what's the alternative? Are you going to go out and date one of these modern day women? You know, most of the modern day women are completely undateable men. They have terrible attitudes, incredibly entitled. They'll oftentimes try and rob you if you live in like a common law area, stuff like that. Like the payoff for men for dating is so low, it's not even funny. Like, dudes, let's put this in perspective, okay? Men are quite literally traveling out of Western countries to find women who are more feminine. That is how bad things are. You know, so obviously all this crap about corn and stuff like that is terrible. Very, very bad stuff for men. But, you know, I notice all of the blame is just constantly put on dudes. And the blame is always like, hey, why don't you go and, you know, do your manly duty of interacting with a modern day woman? And to that, I say, no, thank you. You know what I mean, guys? Like a lot of people, myself included, I don't want to go out of my way to talk to a woman. You know, when I'm at the gym, I'm not trying to make friends with women. I'm not trying to talk to people. I'm there for a reason, and then I will leave. And that's the way things are these days, guys. Like you open a door for a modern day woman and she'll scowl at you a lot of the time. Some sad crap here.
Even venture capital companies that focus exclusively.
All right, Nefra, to help me lower my person so we can see Taylor better. But no, I completely agree, and it's like with Joey, what's his name? Joey Swole. It's like what we're seeing is, especially in the gyms, is that guys are afraid to even go and help a woman who's in the gym videoing herself because it could be a trap.
Do you remember we were watching a fail army? It wasn't even anything like this. It was a damn fail army.
Yep.
And the woman like crashed and something happened. And the guy that was in the background literally just got up and hustled his ass
away.
Like did not even.
He saw it start happening, and he was like, "Nope."
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's a damn trap. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's like damned if you do and damned if you don't, because I know that guy's gonna get called out, like OCC, like look, he won't even come over and help.
And it's like, well, yeah, because guys don't know if they're gonna get screwed over.
There's the ones that you can see that the guys are very clearly agitated. Like
Yeah.
they're sitting back there waiting for their turn to use something. And they're having to wait for this bitch to, like, you know, finish her set and do her filming and everything. And you can see that they're irritated. And then the women spin it around and be like, oh my god, look at, he was such a creep. He was like staring.
He was watching me the whole time.
He's fucking irritated. He wants his turn.
Yes.
You know? Like, you're all paying your dues. Like, you know, be respectful.
Do what you do and move on.
Move on to the next thing. It's like, I couldn't be able to stand doing that with somebody,
No.
like, doing that shit to me, you know?
No.
No
it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, no common courtesy.
No.
On this. We made a video about the entire loneliness economy before, as it's just the perfect vector for exploitation. Sell people the solution to the problem you helped create. It's the oldest trick in the book, but the impacts are totally new to us. And that's why they're doing so much damage. We're even inventing new language to deal with this. Remember that cringily soulless word "me cute" that people started using years ago? It popped up on social media as a way to describe meeting someone that you exchanged numbers with for a date. For example, at a coffee shop or a bookshop when looking for the same book. Just think about the fact that we actually developed a new word for the crazy phenomenon of just meeting someone organically. It should have set off alarm bells, right?
Am I the only one who's never heard of this word, by the way? Like, I understand what this guy is trying to say, but I have never heard this phrase in my life. Maybe that's just me.
It was an early sign that society was changing in a way that made meeting people in real life the exception and not the rule. It's no coincidence that the word started.
All right, I was just saying, I haven't heard of it either, but Daughter of Otten here said that she has.
Yeah, it's like a random, like, meeting. Hold on, let me look at it.
Yeah, they said that it was, you know, for like naturally meeting somebody.
Yeah,
like a coffee shop.
An amusing, charming, or unexpected first encounter between potential romantic partners.
Yes.
It's a common theme in, like, you know, romantic comedies and stuff like that, but it's like, it's a like an old term.
But it's like, yeah, I guess it's coming back right now.
Oh, well, it's probably because they're trying to force it, and because they're all obsessed with these goddamn romantic comedies, and it's not reality. And,
I know.
like, I don't know.
It's exactly right.
being used a lot around 2015, the same time dating apps blew up. And in the last decade, dating declined to the point where the majority of Generation Z today just don't know or really have any way to meet people. 50% of men aged 18 to 24 have never approached a woman in person in their life, and like even higher percentage, 18 to 30, haven't approached a woman in the last year. In recent years, third space.
I love conversations like this, man, because they always like dance around the issue. Typically, anyway. I haven't seen this full interview in particular, but they always dance around the issue. They're like, you know, all these dudes are just not approaching women, and what happened? And they kind of just dance around it. But again, the truth of the matter is it's simply not worth it for men. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go approach a woman and risk a court case if she doesn't like me? And people think this is some kind of a joke, okay? They're like, oh, it's not that serious. For men, it is actually very serious, man. Like, let's just say, you know, you frequent a coffee shop. Like, you love this coffee shop, so you go there every day or whatever to get your coffee the way you like it. And you talk to a woman in that location who ends up, you know, thinking you're creepy or whatever. There are situations where you can't go back there again, because now everyone in that social environment is going to think you're a creep. So you can't go back there for the coffee because you're going to be that creepy guy, because maybe the woman said to some other, you know, person there that you're a creep. And this stuff happens.
All right.
Yes, yeah, I fully agree with what he's saying here. There's a lot of situations where that's going to happen, you know, and women have the upper hand say of what is going to happen. If a woman doesn't like what you've done and they go start bashing you online, it's going to get all over the place, and every other woman's going to cling to it.
Right. And then they have these pages on Facebook and stuff that it's like, are we dating the same guy, or watch out for this guy?
Yeah.
And they'll take pictures of these people and you don't even know if it's like legitimately true or not.
No.
They could have just taken it from his personal Facebook and then like made up these fucking stories.
Exactly.
And it's like they post these posts about like, oh, this guy, you know, I met with him and this is what he did and it was so weird. And it's like, be careful, ladies, you know, don't. And it's like, you know, all these comments, oh God, thank you, good for looking out. I'm pretty sure that I had an encounter with him one day when we were on the, and it's like, it just blows up and you don't know how much of it's fact and what's fiction.
That's exactly right.
And that's what I hate about the internet. It's like you could just take a picture from anywhere. And now with AI, you could even make it look like he's like doing something nefarious.
I know.
You know?
I mean, they even have kitty stuff done through AI that you wouldn't be able to tell.
And there's really nothing that you can do about that legally either.
No.
You know, because it's not like a real thing and, you know, it's art for like lack of a better fucking term.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So it's like the internet, I mean, that it's just like, it really sucks. It really does.
It does. I mean, the stuff that comes and goes with it is ridiculous.
And people have this lynch mob mentality. They're always so quick to assume the worst about people, I guess, because it's more interesting. You know, there's hardly anybody that's just says, well, let's see their side of the story. Let's do a wait and see. You know, it's like, no, whatever the negative crap is, it's like posted, they're on it. You know,
Yep,
they
done.
eat that shit up, and then it spreads like wildfire.
And that guy's done.
Yeah.
Flat out. That's the problem.
Yeah. And it's like, that is scary as hell when you're just starting out. You know?
It is.
Like, I have to agree, like, when it comes to dating advice for our own son, it's like, yep, leave.
Yeah.
leave the country, find somebody from somewhere else, because leave now and never come back.
And never come back.
But, like, yeah, I get it, you know?
Yes, very much so.
Happens all the time, man. All the time. And that's a less serious example, by the way. That's not even like a court case example where a woman claims you touched her or, you know, you came onto her too aggressively. Like, the amount of damage that can be done to men's careers and social lives off of an approach to a modern woman. Because let's be real, a lot of these women are very mean men. You know, they don't really let you down lightly if they don't like you. If they don't find you attractive, there are a lot of women out there who will use you as sort of like a martyr to make themselves look better. It's ridiculous.
like even higher percentage, 18 to 30, haven't approached a woman in the last year. In recent years, third spaces, meaning not your home, school, workplace, have just vanished. Think about the place that you grew up as an example. Pubs, bars, libraries, high street shops. How many are actually left today? And if any, how busy even are they? Since COVID, we just shuttle ourselves from home to work, to the gym, to the supermarket and home. You don't really just go to the village markets. There is no real town, square or hall. You're not really bumping into anyone. Even a bit of small talk with someone at the bus stop just feels weird and awkward. Making eye contact with someone on public transport will get you a look that leaves you wondering if you're insane.
So much of what makes somebody good at dating is different now than it was 50 years ago.
You can see it in the way coffee shops have changed. Almost.
Am I the only one who just, despises the phrase good at dating? Like everyone's viewing dating like it's some sort of a marathon. I think it's really sad. You've got all these older women guys who are like, yeah, I'm so experienced in dating, or now I've experienced things. Now I want to settle down. Like, what do you mean? This isn't.
Okay, if I ever would hear a woman say, oh, I'm experienced in dating, that screams to me that they are your modern women.
Right.
Nobody wants to be good at dating.
You don't want somebody that's like experienced. You don't even want like guys that are experienced.
No.
It's like that's so stupid. And that's one of the talking points for a lot of like modern women. It's like, oh, why is there a double standard? Why can men sleep around with a bunch of people?
I know.
And we can't. It's like, well, there are some biological differences, but it's also just not okay. We don't want it with anybody.
No, absolutely not.
And there's a video that I want to do with him about purity culture. And like,
yes,
these modern feminists are just like railing against purity culture and saying how damaging it is to women and everything. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I know.
I have an app that's like a woman's app, for tracking stuff. And they have like secret anonymous like texts and stuff that you can read. My God, some of these women, they talk about like having 27, 30 guys, and they're like,
that's ridiculous.
Hasn't done anything wrong to me. I don't have any problems,
I know.
Like, yeah, you do.
A lot.
Almost.
Come on. But no, that's a big problem.
And they're like, I'm doing just fine. It's like, yeah, but it was like, let me guess, you're overweight. You're tatted up, you have mental health issues.
I know.
You can't have a long-term relationship, but it's like they're so proud of it. And it's like,
yes,
27, 30 guys, Like,
I know. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, good at dating.
Yep. Go, okay, know what you are.
Yeah, right.
Move on.
Right.
Next.
I mean, who wants to be with somebody who's been with that many people, like who's like been touched by that many people? Like the energy,
I know.
Energy runoff is just insane. Not to mention the risk of disease and the risk of mental health issues.
Yes.
And it's like, oh man.
Some marathon where you go date 40 different men and then I'm supposed to wife you up after the fact. Like, how much of an insult is that, by the way? Like, yeah, I want to wife up some woman who's got a lot of experience. That's what I'm really looking for. And obviously, guys, I'm not getting married because I'm not that stupid. No offense to the guys who are married. I hope you don't get robbed of all your possessions. But you see what I'm saying here, okay? Like this idea that a woman is going to be good at dating. Like I just need some highly charismatic, extroverted woman, and that's the woman that men are looking for. I mean, come on now.
Almost every cafe is bland, empty, just minimalist, almost as if they're designed purely as a conveyor belt of coffees and customers, getting us in and out as quickly as possible to extract the most amount of money they can. But can you remember the time when a stereotypical cafe was like this? With big sofas, comfy chairs, bringing people together to talk, and people just walking up to someone to say something without it being creepy. The show Friends was based on just reality in the 90s, and it's all part of a much wider pattern, one that's seemingly seemingly threatening humanity.
That this is actually a potentially existential crisis. Humans really do meet the qualification of an endangered species.
Because meeting people and building relationships is really the most important thing for human survival. It's often the key indicator in determining your lifespan. It's how we have replacement rates in just the population. But with this last decade and the disappearance of so many communal spaces where our parents and grandparents had opportunities to randomly meet new people, mixed with dating apps, has meant we're seeing a gap try to be filled that wasn't a natural one. This
is the other funny thing, is you'll have like older people who don't really understand how dating works nowadays, or, you know, how people behave. And they think that dating is just straightforward and simple, and that you as a man, if you're watching this channel, you're probably a guy. You know, their solution is, well, why don't you just go to a coffee shop and meet a nice woman and get married? And you have to explain to them that that's really outdated, and that simply doesn't really happen anymore. You know, like, again, you have to not look like a crazy a-hole who just really dislikes women to explain the actual situation of what's happening. Because you might be a guy watching this, and you might want a family, you might want a wife, you might like women, but unfortunately a lot of the women these days are simply not approachable. And that's a situation that a lot of men find themselves in. They're like, well, I want to get married or have a family or this sort of thing, but, you know, the family courts are hostile to men.
Okay, like you said, you know, if there's guys out there that are just like, oh yeah, I'll just go to a coffee shop, I'll find a woman and do this. I agree with Taylor here, because a lot of women are not approachable in our day and age anymore. You approach them and they're selfish, they're entitled.
They're fucking mean. I mean,
yeah.
In general, they're just like, for lack of a better term, they're just freaking mean, just really unapproachable.
So you do not,
very suspicious, you know.
You do not want your friend to go and get eaten alive because he thought, oh, dating is like it was in the 90s.
Right. Or even the early 2000s.
Yeah, even the early 2000s.
I think our generation was the one that lucked out because we were just getting into technology.
Yeah, and so you still had those encounters.
Hangout areas, and, you know, people like places to go and stuff.
Yeah, because what really did it is high-speed internet and accessibility through mobile networks.
And then apps just put the nail in the coffin. That was it. But and yeah, they want to talk about equality. Well, we don't have equality. We don't have gender equality, because for the small amount of time that women might have been oppressed here in the Americas, now the legal system is completely set up in their favor.
Yes, and that's what he was just saying too.
Right, whether it's family court, whether it's domestic abuse situations, whether, I mean, like I was telling Guru, even in marriage now, you can sue your husband for rape.
Yeah.
You know, because, and it's like, okay, I get, there's probably some situations where that's legitimate, but how many times are you just going to find a woman that's just pissed off and they do something, and then later on she's like, well, I really felt pressured into it. I didn't want to. It, and you made me do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're winning cases on that. You know?
So you're getting guys now that are completely afraid to even do anything like that.
Right.
Because it's like, well, what if you say that later on?
Yeah, so there's no sanctity of marriage. There's no security in marriage anymore, even. So it's like the whole Western system is really set up in favor of women, and it's set up to fail. Like 80%, thanks a lot. 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Yes.
For no fault things. We're not talking about domestic abuse and stuff.
I know.
And then where they say, well, see, it's all men. Well, lesbians have a higher divorce rate than straight couples.
Yes.
And they have higher domestic abuse rates. So is it really the men? You know,
exactly.
That's two women, and look at the situation. You know,
I'm glad it's funny, Amos.
Yeah, he's ruining my whole thing. But yeah, I mean, the system is not set up in men's favor. No,
it's not at all, and that's what's really screwing the society as a whole.
Yeah,
and that's why guys are going out of country to find somebody, which is going to unbalance America here, to the highest.
Yeah, because it's like they're not bringing these women back, and with good reason, because a lot of the ones that come back become westernized even faster.
They do.
And
That is very true, especially what was it like Nigerian and
Filipinos.
Filipinos.
Filipinos have a really high rate of becoming westernized really
Yes.
fast and turning and divorcing husbands here and everything. But if people are not having children here, they're not having marriage here. It's
Exactly.
they're staying over there. And
So what's going to happen to your modern women? The problem is they will always advance on because there's always like artificial
right, I was
insemination.
gonna say they've made it pretty damn clear that they'll be okay without men. And I mean, I do believe that in their minds they think that they will be. And so it's gonna be a whole nation of Amazons basically,
Yeah.
you know, and they'll have their
And the earth will balance itself out.
right.
It won't allow it.
Right. And something's going on when the majority of women that are having children are over the age of 30 now.
Yes.
So it's like nature has started to balance with that, whereas you're supposed to be around the age of 20 to 25 when you're having your children.
Yeah.
Nobody's not nobody, but less and less women are doing that. And nature sees this, so
Yep.
it's compensating by making their older women more fertile, and that
Yes.
it's in itself has its own problems, you know.
That's where you're getting to see a bunch of the disabilities
Right.
and everything else. Yes, that's exactly right.
Which isn't necessarily true. I mean, yeah, your chances are increased, but that's kind of a myth. But it comes down to the longevity of how you can take care of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's we're gonna be near 60 by the time ours is ready to go out into the
Yeah.
world, and that's not horribly old, but historically that's ancient.
Exactly.
You know? So it's
Because yes, people are living longer, and so that's what makes it
Right.
change too.
And you've got some celebrities like Cameron Diaz. She had her first baby in her 50s.
I know.
First baby.
That's crazy to me.
And it's that's
You have a couple that were 70,
well,
like
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro was almost 90, I think, and he just had. And it's but they're men. That's kind of always been the case. But when you see women actually having children.
But if it's a boy, it's not gonna have its father.
Well, if it's a girl, it's not gonna have its father. Either.
No.
And
But I'm just saying the father's more important in some ways too.
No, I don't think so. It's the problem with the modern women is the fact that they've been fatherless.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, it's
That's
it's
very
impor-
much
it's
so
important
true.
Both because you have
The roles,
Yeah,
regardless.
Yeah, you have pansies being raised by modern women, but most of the time it's because these women have no self-respect because they've never had a male figure in their life
Yeah,
worth anything.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So it's either way, it's detrimental.
It is.
And they give you this excuse. Well, nobody knows when they're gonna die anyway. It could happen for you when you're.
You're
20s.
right.
And it's
They
yeah,
don't.
you're right, but statistically speaking, those
You have a
children-
better shot.
Yeah, those children
Younger.
are not gonna have their father past
Yep.
the age of 5 years old. They're never gonna know them.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's just facts. You know?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, facts don't care about your feelings.
Facts.
And women are hostile towards men. And even if you want these things, it's just going to be incredibly difficult for you. And a lot of the older generation doesn't seem to understand that. They think that it's just the same as when they were growing up, and you should go out there and you should just hit it off with some woman at the newsagents or whatever location they met their significant other in. But it's simply not the same for the newer generations.
This is a void created by the same economic forces that hollowed out our third space as chains and corporate landlords. The same forces that funded these apps promising to replace what was destroyed. And dating apps didn't discover a gap in the market, one was just torn open and then monetized. But it was a lie. That too was all about getting your money. Think about it, the whole idea of a dating app as a viable business is a paradox. If they actually help people into relationships, they would clearly lose business. One good match is two lost customers, so instead, they design the apps to fail, and in doing so, keep us hooked on using them. And in turn, what better way to keep an active user base than by having relationships designed to be short-term? This is your capacity to fall in love, to build a family, to find meaning. All your data, all your most vulnerable desires is just slowly converted into swipes and push notifications so someone else can hit their quarterly growth targets. Your relationship is designed to not be long-term.
I actually think that it's kind of worse than this. So yes, all of these companies, they want to make money. They want to prolong your usage of them so that they can make more revenue from you. But here's the other thing that I don't think people are considering, particularly, people who make this point here, is that these dating apps could work, okay? But women on dating apps are just, women are very bad at dating, right? Speaking of being good and bad at dating, most women are terrible with dating, right? Like they have, let's make this perfectly clear, okay? When women use these dating applications, they have essentially unlimited options. Okay, so the dating apps themselves, they could work. They could meet the men. They could have a relationship. They could go out there and have kids and get married and stuff like this. But the women simply don't do that for the most part. What they do is they choose to go and have fun with these men who clearly don't want anything serious, if we're being logical. And then they just continue to jump back on the apps, so the tool is actually being given to women, but they just refuse to use it correctly. Now, the reason why I don't hold men to that same standard, which is something we'll get into later in the video, is simply because men do not have power on dating applications. And if they do, it's very minimal, and it's for a very small percentage of men. Most men are completely invisible, in not only in real life, but also on dating applications as well. And I would argue it's probably significantly worse on dating applications. But the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, these companies are trying to farm everybody for money, trying to, maximize their profits. But let's not kid ourselves here, okay? If women wanted to have long-term relationships using these applications, they could find 1,000 men tomorrow, no problem, okay? If you're in a metropolitan city, the women have all the options. They just want a very small percentage of them. That's really what it boils down to.
It's why men make up 75% of Tinder users and women just 25%. Interestingly enough, the co-founder of the dating site OkCupid wrote a book revealing what actually happens behind the scenes of dating apps. Women, as you'd expect, receive an average of 4 to 5 messages a week, which even that seems unlikely to be this low. 90% of men received an average of 0 messages. Only at the extreme end of the attractiveness scale do the best-looking men receive around 1 to 2 messages.
And you see, this is what I mean. Okay, this is where the difference comes in. Women have so much leverage when it comes to dating, and they throw it all away to hook up with men who don't want them. And, you'll have those women who will say things like, well, I'm looking for something serious, but all of the men keep playing me. It's like, yes, obviously, the men that you are selecting are going to play you. Or, women's friends will oftentimes tell them this, but they do it anyway. Like they know they're chasing men with these quote unquote red flags. And usually red flags in men, by the way, what this typically means is that the man obviously is not going to give up commitment. That's typically what red flags are in men. It's just an attractive guy who is unlikely to actually have a relationship with the woman. But make no mistake, guys, these women know that the dudes are not going to commit. They know the dudes are just saying nonsense to have their fun, if the guy is inclined to lie. And they go out there and they do it anyway. And then they expect the rest of men to have sympathy for them, oh, we're supposed to be like, oh, I can't believe all of these men have just completely lied to you and tricked you. At a certain point, you're doing this on purpose, the options are there. Okay. Yes, there are dwindling amounts of men who are willing to put up with the nonsense of modern women, but the simps, they still come through. Okay. So women could have their relationships, they could have their stuff, but they choose not to. So I don't understand why men in general, we're kind of, modern day media will convince us to be sorry for these women. I simply don't understand it.
But there's also a lot of men who are relying on dating apps who are never going to get the matches that they desire, either because they are short or because they are bald.
So check this out, by the way, guys. Look at this. I don't know if you saw that, the headline there. I don't know how recently this was introduced, but I think it was fairly recently. I don't know. Height filters are taking off on dating apps. Are they getting in the way of finding true love?
Okay, I had to pause it right here because, yes, the height filter thing, that is one of the biggest things with women. And it's like, oh, he has to be over 6 feet tall. Oh, he has to make $200K a year.
Yeah. And like I said, I've done the math. And when you put those two things together, that's 3% of the male population that's available.
Yep.
So what makes them a 3% woman? Are they of like marriageable, childbearing age? Have they worn out their best years already? You know, are they?
Yes.
What are they going to do to like reciprocate that? Because like, let's get real. Like relationships are reciprocal. Like,
Yep.
What one does, the other one has to do in return. You know, it has to be equitable.
It has to be a give and take. Yes.
Yeah. And so it's like the one that
Don't tell Guru.
the one that wanted 200,000 bringing in, she also wanted equal partnership in household duties and everything. And it's,
yes.
There's just no way.
No.
It's just not going to happen unless he's like, you know, retired and like the master of a Fortune 500 company. That's not going to happen.
That's exactly right. Yes.
If you want that money, then you better pull down the household yourself.
Exactly. You know, the women have to prove what they can bring to the table to make sure that they can get that top.
If you want your husband home more, then you take the pay cut and you make sacrifices.
Yes.
You know, like you help out around the house and you do stuff with him, but only because it's like you've made it so that you don't have to go and work, you know, 40 hours a week every week or more. You know, like I made the sacrifices and that's the pay. That's the
exactly.
You know, so but it's like asinine to think that you're gonna get that. And so many of these women also with the height thing, they're like 5'4", you know, and they want somebody that's 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like why? You know, like
so they can get railed.
Yeah, but you feel like you'd be at their belly level. It's like fucking weird. You know, it's like
because supposedly, you know, you in order to be cute, you have to be tall, lean, and muscly, you know, that type of thing. But yet you reverse the role and you tell a woman if they have to be something else, and that's sexist. That's
right. It's fat phobic, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if he's brought it up yet, but it's like, can you imagine if they put like a weight filter on?
I know.
Men, you know, it's like
exactly.
Be under 150 pounds or something. They didn't do their goddamn shit.
Yeah. They would lose their minds.
They'd be so fucking sued.
Yes.
Like, so fast. It's ridiculous. And I think that's reasonable.
It should be. If they want to do it the way that they're doing it, then yes, that's reasonable.
I used to watch a vlog of a woman who was a girlfriend of a millionaire. Mm-hmm. And she had to weigh herself every day. She had to measure her waistline every day. When she was cooking and doing stuff, she had to wear a certain dress. She had to wear certain heels. You know, it was transactional. She made sure that her hair was done before he came home. You know, it was an image thing, and it was like that. All the things that she did. You know, she was like a little bit puffy one day, and she's like, "Oh, well, no breakfast for me this morning." And then she went and she hit the gym, and she like, you know, worked that off because that's their arrangement. And
well, I was gonna say as long as that's their arrangement and they both agree to it,
right,
then that's not an issue.
Yeah, you know how much money she was given as an allowance.
Yeah,
it's like $50,000 a month.
That's exactly right. That's like a contractual agreement, and that's one thing. But if a guy is doing that and forcing it onto a woman that doesn't want to do that,
there's no reason for it.
No.
You know, exactly. Like I said, it is transactional, and it has to be equitable, and everybody enters into this willingly. And you know,
exactly.
She was under contract. She was literally under contract.
Yeah. See.
But everybody's swarming to the comments saying that's abuse, that's horrible.
No, it's not.
I wouldn't dare do that. I like my donuts too much, and it's like, well, then you're not getting $50,000 a month.
Well, that's what everybody tells me too. It's like, you know, I tell them, oh, I walk here and there. I would never do that.
Well,
I would never.
You're not gonna eat.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they don't know.
Yeah.
They've never been in that position.
Nope.
So it's like you'd be surprised what you'll do.
Yeah.
You know?
When you have to get home, you have to get home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
So if you didn't catch that, dating apps have actually added in a height filter. Okay, I doubt they put in a weight filter for women. They probably haven't, realistically. But how crazy is this? Okay, so now if you're a dude who's like 5'9", I mean, women are just going to be, let's be honest, the women are just going to be sorting by dudes who are at least 6 foot. I mean, what are we even doing here? Ridiculous. And by the way, many of the women who want dudes who are like 6 foot, number one, don't even know what 6 foot looks like. And number two, half the time they're 5'4" anyway. It's insane.
are short or because they are bald.
So, as many of us already know, if you're not in the top 10%, there's really no point in using them. It's something that's called mate suppression in practice, and we'll go into that more soon.
And the reality is, for 95% of guys, online and dating apps aren't going to be a fruitful place for them to meet women.
But what we're seeing right now is that Generation Z's entire prospect of finding love is based on the ELO rating system, a numerical method developed to rank players in games like chess. A player score determines how strong or weak they are in relation to others. So your ability to find love is seemingly literally being run through the same maths we use to decide who's good at chess or League of Legends. It's why whenever you join these apps, you get tons of matches, then suddenly they just fade away. You'll be told this is a personal failure, but oftentimes it's not. It's just the platform sorting you to the bottom unless you pay a ton of money. And this created a dangerous dynamic that has now permeated the world of dating, one where women select the same group of the most attractive men who have almost exclusive access to women, who then become...
I mean, make no mistake, women would do this with or without this inbuilt feature, by the way. It doesn't matter how they organize the groups of men on these applications. Women would still, for the most part, choose the very small percentage of men that have the characteristics that they're looking for.
less interested in lots of these girls because they are then seen as too easy. The effect of this is that dating is...
Wait. Hang on a minute. So did we just suggest that men wouldn't be interested because the women are... Let's have a look. My goodness.
They are then seen as too...
Oh yeah, active, bedroom fun, crazed young women viewed as easy targets in new hookup culture. I see.
Easy. The effect of this is that dating is seemingly a low-trust marketplace, as the entire way to attract is seemingly detachment and not through connection. It's always a contest of who cares the least, who can take the longest to message back, who's more aloof, disinterested, and who holds the power in the struggle to not care about the other. In other words, it's a game where almost everyone is bound to lose. You can now see it on reality TV with game shows where heartbreak is entertainment. But what's the message we're supposed to get from this? Romance isn't sacred, it's just a contest.
I assume it's women who watch this garbage, but like anytime I see dating shows and stuff like that, I just cannot really watch it at all. It's just completely insufferable to me. It's absolutely...
Okay, depending on the dating ones, certain dating ones I've watched because I've been very interested to see just how it's going to go. We've got the Mama's Boy that we've watched.
That wasn't a game show, that was a reality show.
That's a, reality show.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The reality shows. And it's like we've got Love is Blind has been an interesting one for the most part.
It's fun to see the dynamic play out with that. And it's
yes.
Like, when you see that, it's like, that is a good match. That's a really good match. And then they turn around and like go the other way away from it.
I know. And they truly go up to the whole thing of they see what the person looks like finally, and then it's like, oh hell no.
I know.
Instead of falling into the actual thing that Love is Blind.
Right. And it's like there's only been a handful of people that have made it out of that.
Yeah, there has.
And
not very many.
They have like the pop the balloon challenges, and it's like those are
ridiculous.
It's like the standards, man. Like
Mediocre covers a lot of those, and
right.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Should be my catchphrase.
Horrible.
Which all leads to the loneliness epidemic, and this one's hitting the youngest the hardest. But it's not just dating. Our whole modern society is stacked against any of us meeting someone, getting married, or even having children. And the consequences of this will change the world as we know it. Because there's something else catching up with us. Our bodies are starting to fail and lose the capacity to produce children at all. You know what they found recently? Microplastics in human testicles. Human testicles contain nearly 3 times as much plastic as dog testicles. We're literally marinating our reproductive organs in synthetic polymers. It's one of the many explanations as to why male sperm counts have dropped by more than 40% since 1970. Average sperm counts could even hit near zero at the current trajectory, even if a situation that extreme.
Honest to God, this falls under the same category as the vaccines. They're the government, the whole society, they are putting stuff into these vaccines and making people less sterile to drop the population. Just look at Planned Parenthood.
Uh-huh.
They have a whole thing that they were trying to eradicate different parts of the human genes.
But they spread this misinformation if they want you to have more children and this
Yes.
and that, but it's like, yeah,
They
but,
don't.
no, because the smaller the population, the easier it is to control.
See, Margaret Sanger flat out said that she was wanting to eradicate blacks.
Yes. Yeah, she was extraordinarily racist. She admired a lot of the Nazi work, and everything. It was like, yeah,
Yes.
and then with the microplastics, it's so bad that newborn babies are tested with it in their tissues. There's nothing that you can do about it now.
Yes.
It's there. And it's from handling water bottles. It's from handling apparently receipts and stuff. The fucking things on the receipt.
I know that's a very interesting one.
Drinking out of the water bottles is what they tell you to. They tell you to get the aluminum water bottles that are reusable and stuff.
Yep.
And it's so bad. There's not a place on this planet that hasn't been affected by pollution.
I know.
In the Andes Mountains, over what is it 20,000 feet or whatever it is. It's above 15,000 feet anyway. With the freshest snow, the most untouched place in this world, they still tested and found coal and pollution samples from factories that were over 4,000 miles away.
Exactly.
There is nothing that you can do.
No, everything is everywhere.
There's not anything that can be done. But nature is amazing, and nature does tend to find a way to fight
Balance.
back.
Yes.
And in the ocean where we have all of this extra plastic and all that big trash island, they find this bacteria that is now living and thriving off of eating, consuming, and eradicating the plastic.
I know. It's out in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I have faith that no matter what, as long as it can be slowed down, and people are more aware of it, the nature will be able to take care of it.
Exactly. And it will.
And
That is
same thing with us. Eventually, we'll be free and purged of it. Our bodies will find a way to
eradicate it.
Push out the plastics and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, no matter how clean you think you're eating, no matter how righteous you think you're living, you're still touched.
Yes, you are.
That sucks.
It really does. And the more vaccines you get, the worse it gets.
Yeah, I'm totally down for polio, measles, the big bad ones. I'm with that. But in order to get that, you have to get the 5-in-1 or the 3-in-1 shot, which gives you a bunch of shit you don't want to eat.
Exactly, they do it on purpose.
The vitamin K crap that they give you upon birth that is completely not necessary and shit. Well, how the hell were people doing it thousands of years ago? None of us would be around here.
Easy, baby.
If we needed the vitamin K shot.
Exactly. That's exactly right, because that's a newer thing.
Yeah. And it's Guru, he had the vaccines and stuff. He had stuff done to him as a toddler and everything he needed, suffering with asthma. And he was small, and he had these sicknesses and stuff.
Yes.
And then this one, he had nothing done to him.
And he's had no issues. Yeah, he got sick a couple of times.
Yeah, but it was a fever, and it didn't even he didn't even get sick.
No.
He didn't throw up. He didn't have a runny nose. He
No.
just had a fever that lasted for a little bit, and then it went away, and it didn't affect his mood or anything.
No, it didn't.
And he just slept, and then it was fine.
Exactly.
2 times in almost a year and a half. And that's it.
Yes. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
It really is amazing to see.
Yeah. And I still I won't take him out where there's going to be a bunch of kids or a bunch of people.
Well, of course,
anything,
yes.
Because it's I'm not going to take that chance because I really am afraid of measles and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But, when he is older, when he's around 5 or so and he has to start going and integrating into public spaces, then we'll sit and talk about
which vaccines. Yeah.
And luckily, when he finally got settled with his new doctor when he was younger, that doctor gave him only the necessary vaccines that he needed to,
and said he got everything. Yeah,
right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But now that doctor's gone.
Yeah, so it's I don't even know now. It's
I know.
I give up.
Yeah.
doesn't transpire, there are plenty of other things to worry about, like the forever chemicals in non-stick pans and waterproof jackets, BPA in your water bottles, all the nasty chemicals in your shampoo. I mean, just the list goes on. Even simple stuff like drinking hot coffee out of plastic takeaway cups. We just live in a world now saturated with endocrine disruptors. And surprise, surprise, our endocrine systems are getting disrupted by all of this garbage we're pumping into our bodies daily. But even if you've somehow avoided the chemical assault, even if your fertility is fine, there's another huge problem vying against us. How many of your friends between the ages of 18 and 30 have kids? 1, 2, none until this year or last? Is anyone planning to have kids? How about those who said they don't even want kids? We just push everything later and later back. Education, work, financial stability, and for the middle classes especially, that pushes back having a family.
You know, this is something else we have to be kind of honest about here. Okay, it is the women who want to push their biological clock backwards, even though it doesn't actually work that way. Like all of this nonsense about having kids when you're 35, it's all women who want to do that, by the way. Like, is that, no, that's not Pokimane. But, you know, I saw a video the other day of Pokimane, like it was an It's a Gundam video, and Pokimane was like proposing to herself or something because she's 30 years old now. And this is the nonsense that I'm talking about, guys. It's like women, they bought into this idea that they just have all the time in the world. And so they think, well, I'm just going to have my fun from the time I'm 20 until the time I'm 30. And then when I'm like 35, or, you know, when I'm 35, that's when I'm going to aim to have kids. But as I push 30, that's when I'm going to have my first like serious relationship. And it's completely nonsensical. Number one, because the women, you know, by the time you're 35, you run some serious risks when you're trying to have children. But then there's also the fact, like, men don't typically want to deal with you by then. And the reason for that is because no dude with any self-respect wants to date a woman who's 30, who's hooked up with like 50 different men, and then we are responsible for wifing that up. It makes absolutely no sense. And that's what's expected of modern day women, guys, right? They expect dudes to just sweep in and save them, some like rich dude who they will not respect, by the way, to just come in and save them from the decisions that they made when they're 35 because they chose to push it off so long. It's completely ridiculous. It's a complete scam for dudes. But like, let's be clear about this, okay? It's women who are the ones who are pushing this crap very, very far backwards. They spend their 20s like drinking and partying and hooking up with dudes who are clearly not interested. Then they'll get to 30, they'll look for a stable guy who they won't respect, who they can't pair bond with. And then, you know, if you're that stable guy, you're going to be expected to marry her. Maybe you'll get a kid. You should probably DNA test it. If I were you, if you've been, you know, a victim of this particular trap, I would suggest DNA testing the kid as well. But, you know, this is an insanely one-sided trade for men, and nobody wants to say it. It's the women who specifically want to do it this way. It is literally them who decides, you know what, now I'm 35 or 30 or whatever, now I'm going to get with that guy who's always been interested in me. Really, really insulting towards men, in my opinion.
Everything later and later back. Education, work, financial stability, and for the middle classes especially, that pushes back having a family. Because you only have a family when it's really sensible to you, right? That's just the middle class value. Rich people don't worry, and poorer people don't worry. But nothing changes our biological clock when it comes to fertility. Women over 35 are considered advanced maternal age, and honestly 35 is starting to look young to have kids for millions of people around the world. However, at 35, miscarriage rates nearly double. The chance of chromosomal abnormalities skyrockets. Down syndrome risk goes from something like 1 in 1,250 at 25 to 1 in 100 at 40. And it's not just mothers. Older fathers contribute too. Men over 45 show increased risk for autism, schizophrenia, even stillbirth in their partners. Having kids into the 40s, 50s, and way higher for men at least is now becoming super common. Every year you wait, you're rolling dice with higher and higher stakes. But what else do you do? Shrug your shoulders and say it's too late and just plummet towards old age without the family you ever wanted?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, but yes, you know, that is crazy statistics that it's going over, saying that like for kids with guys that are over 40 years old, like the statistics for schizophrenia and for all this stuff keeps going up, like 1.5% higher.
Right. but like I said, when you think about that, it doesn't bring it up to like 1.5%. Like if the base is not even,
Yes.
If it's like 0.1%, then you do that. It's you just plus 1.5% of that. So it's not like it's not as crazy
of numbers as it seems. And it's still fascinating to me that it goes up like that.
Right.
For all those different things. Sorry, we got a cranky baby who wants to do more. Yeah. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. In the next couple days, we'll be back for part 2 of this one. Namaste. Mwah. Thank you all for the support. Hopefully, Sancho will see you on the next stream. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Namaste.